Tonight, the WWE Universe is here to witness history. Tonight, we begin the road to WrestleMania.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is the Royal Rumble match. Now, the two superstars that drew numbers 1 and 2 will start in the ring at the same time. Other superstars will join in based on the number that they drew. This process will continue until all 30 superstars have entered the ring. Elimination occurs when a superstar is thrown out over the top rope with both feet landing on the floor. The last man in the ring after all have entered will be declared the Royal Rumble winner and will advance to the main event at WrestleMania. Weighing 243 pounds, from Brooklyn, New York, weighing 275 pounds,
We're set for action, and it looks as though we are about to get underway. Two superstars lock up. Another exclusive matchup with Coliseum Video. They're ready to get down to business.
Yes, I was impressed very much so by their attitude going into this match. They both said that they're going to give all their all, and I'm certainly looking forward to that one. It boggles my mind and everybody else's mind too.
Very cautious at first. They move in, collar and elbow. And boy, this crowd, they've been waiting for this encounter all night. Got the power and skill.
Yes, and his fleet of foot too. Don't forget that, because speed is a very, very important factor in this particular match. Doesn't he look confident?
Oh. This is going to be some battle, I think, going out for days.
He certainly knows how to strike most effectively. He may be in for a rude awakening here. I don't know so much so. Certainly knows what he's doing, Sean.
Well, two very interesting styles meeting head-to-head here. Two very gifted superstars. And I think that they are going to have to use every tactic.
Yes.
And their vast vocabulary of wrestling moves.
Yes, some not even in the book.
And Warnoff and Hayes, both superstars, very cautious at this point.
They are indeed. One thing they've got to do, they've got to pace themselves. There's no getting on the outside and having a little respite for 2 or 3 minutes. You've got to be in there the whole time. And one of the most important keys to success is being able to pace yourself correctly. You know, both do their homework very, very thoroughly on their opposition. So obviously they've looked, reviewed tapes, probably Coliseum tapes at that, to see how each has fared.
So we've got a great matchup.
Indeed we have.
Took a long way to get there, but I think we made our point.
Absolutely.
Well, I have a feeling that this is one encounter that is going to get a bit wild. Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. They're doing a special broadcast this evening, Your Lordship, on the Armed Forces Network.
Well, that's very kind of them, but I'm still sure that Bobby Heenan gets paid for it.
Yeah, I was going to say it wasn't a charitable move on the Brain's part.
Yeah, the Gorilla's not far behind him, you know. He likes a few pence in the pocket too.
Oh, really?
Yes. Oh, he never picks up a tag if you go out to
Lordship. Great match to include an exclusive encounter for Coliseum Video. And I know for a fact we are going to see some sparks in this battle.
Yes, this is a plum of a match. The Coliseum Video, they really have excelled themselves with this exclusive.
Surprised he wanted to stand toe-to-toe there. He'd like to end this in a hurry. He certainly would. Oh. And after seeing the action we've seen so far, Dr. Hayes, what do they prediction? You say this is going to be a tremendous exclusive matchup that is going to be included.
Yes, I must echo those words, Sean. I don't always like to agree with you, but sometimes you're forced to.
Alfred, you arrived here earlier than I did, and I see you got some color today.
Yes, I was out on the beach. It was very nice there.
So it's going to be a perfect day because not only did you get out in the sun, but you're going to see some great World Wrestling Federation action.
Yes, I saw all sorts of things on the beach. But very nice.
Folks on the edge of their seats here. And there is a clear example of the skill in the ring. He has worked very hard, spent a lot of hours in the squared circle, just practicing, perfecting his moves, and it's certainly paying off.
Absolutely, Sean. The execution of those moves, when he's strung together, timing was great, all the balance was correct, shows you how he has, in your words, improved.
And not only skilled wrestling moves, they're also very skilled at stretching the rules, shall we say.
A little deviation from the rules there didn't hurt anybody really, but very, very sneaky, crafty wrestler. Sometimes with the referee's back turn, he will use some very, very dubious means.
He has very quickly scaled the ranks. He's definitely, Lord Alfred Hayes, one of the top contenders.
I would have to go along with that, Sean, most definitely.
Not that I admire or really like the way he behaves in the ring.
You don't like his
But as far as his skill, I'll go along with how you feel about superstars. I know it's tough for me at times, but I have to think that their personal behavior is part of it. But when you just speak solely on skill, I would say he is definitely one of the best.
Well, that's very gracious of you, and I'm sure that he'll have a few kind words to say to you, Sean.
No, he never has a kind word to say.
Oh, he doesn't? Well, he doesn't to me either, quite honestly.
No, that's for sure. Very nasty.
Yes, he's a killer. He really is.
They're not nice individuals.
No, but they're in a man's world, in a man's sport, and they certainly are men.
Where men are men.
Yes, absolutely. He doesn't appear to have any weaknesses in his armor at all, though. He has great conditioning, Sean. He really is a superb man. You have to admire him.
Yes.
Who has shown us a lot of skills over the past. He's a very powerful performer, a very, very gifted wrestler. I certainly know that inside the ring, this man is a very, very aggressive performer, and he certainly has chalked up a remarkable list of victories.
It's seen him in the ring long enough to know anytime he can erupt and end an encounter. Great angle. About as close as I'd like to get to the action.
Yes.
This close.
And look at that shot, Sean. Our cameraman taking us right in the ring there. You were talking about great angles before. That was another good one. You cannot be closer to the action than that in the World Wrestling Federation. That is surely a coup for Coliseum Video.
This is an exclusive matchup for Coliseum Video. As Coliseum Video cameras bring us in close. Closest I've ever been.
Yes, really.
Boy, do we have a good look at that. The battle continues. This capacity crowd is really getting an action-filled match here.
And you know, Sean, I think the fans here are finding it difficult who to really favor in this match. I think they're quite evenly divided on the two.
But both sides giving everything they've got. And you can see just the edges of fatigue sneaking in. But as far as the action goes, it's just as furious as when the bell first sounded.
They probably have every young girl in here cheering for them with the fair maidens.
Fair maidens, yes.
Yes, I knew a fair maiden here once. Molly, her name was. A precious little girl. No, I don't. No.
Details. So you are in a real scribe today.
Thank you, sir.
Really taking advantage of the situation now. Using everything he's got.
I believe he's trying to step up the pace here. I think he's found maybe a faster pace is more to his liking.
A series of moves right there.
Great moves and counter moves and counter moves.
Yes, nicely explained, Alfred.
Yes, I don't think we're ever going to keep up with them, do you, Sean?
Only in slow motion.
I'm sure, please, you're calling the play here. I couldn't do it.
Think about it, he never lets up.
He certainly doesn't.
Sees any opening, he goes right for it. Begins to dismantle.
Yes. He is relentless. You're right, Sean. I like the choice of your wordage there. Dismantle. That's what he does. He takes you apart this man.
Slow and calculating, but incredibly effective.
You do sometimes marvel at his courage. I mean, obviously, he's not only a great wrestler, but he does possess a great deal of grit. And obviously, resolution.
Well, you clearly saw that.
He's intent on really destroying, and he's doing a good job of that right now.
He rarely pays any attention to the referee as it is.
He doesn't speak the same language as referees, that's for sure.
Referee.
Yes,
Trying to keep things under control.
a referee here has his hands full in this encounter. Both involved in illegal tactics so far. Delhi Davis getting a little fed up with this right now, trying to keep some sort of order. How difficult that is. You know, one thing these men have in common, both of them, is that as youngsters they played rugby.
Really?
Yes.
Lordship, I have to say that is one great sport.
It is. I know people partake in a few games of rugby.
I know people find that hard to believe, but I kind of stayed out on the end there and wait until they passed me the ball and I would run in and touch it down.
You're a little modest. I know that you campaigned in Great Britain and in Europe. He was a rugby man, one of the 15.
Well, we've got two men battling it out right now.
Devastating wrestler, is he not?
Certainly is.
He certainly has his wits about him at all times. And now you're seeing superb wrestling at its very, very best here by two complete masters. And look at this, bang, 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 it's like the stock exchange.
Boxing match.
Well, the action now is really fast and furious. Both climbing into top gear. And I'm that the referee is not equal to that particular speed. He's just by himself, one man in the ring. Really not enough.
Good hold of the reins at this point in this encounter.
Seems rather delighted with what he's doing.
Apparently he's accomplishing what he set out to do.
Some great moves here. He's beginning to establish himself in this bout. He's beginning to dominate, and once he does this, he's a tremendously good front runner. And what a good situation our Coliseum cameraman had just set right in the corner.
Would love to get another look at that.
Sean was so right. When you said that just now, I was trying to think the last time I saw, I can't remember ever seeing this happen to him before. So this game plan seems to be working. And those are good tactics indeed. He certainly knows how to pull things out of the bag. A very uncouth fellow, but a great wrestler. His language...
Well, wait a minute, Lord Alfred Hayes. I'm going to tell you right now, I know that there's going to acquire a copy of this exciting tape. He will listen to every moment. He's going to hear what you just said.
Well,
I'm going to give you the opportunity to retract that statement. You said he was uncouth.
Yes, he is uncouth. I don't know that. He rather takes a pride in the way he can handle gutter language. I'm telling you, he rather likes that. Sometimes the things he says, well, you couldn't possibly say them on television or on the air anywhere. Even so, it doesn't detract from what he does inside the ring. He is a superb wrestler. That in itself, showing all that tenacity and resolve, is a superb effort.
No, I would agree with that point, but considering what Alfred Hayes, just how formal you are and how much you believe in manners, it was a kind of point I was trying to get across, Lord Alfred Hayes.
See, there's a nice move.
Well, certainly give an attitude adjustment. Few men can combat that move.
How true. Shown the heaviness of that blow and the crispness of its delivery. I don't care who you are, that was bound to really hurt you.
Well, I don't think too many individuals could have taken such a blow, but your lordship, you have suffered a few broken noses in your time.
There's a lot of sinew in the nose, and it does tend to be very flexible, especially if you've had it broken once or twice, and that can happen with close contact matches.
Well, I broke my nose once. I was involved in a rather intense squash game. Yes, it was kind of nailed by
but obviously you had the best surgeons to put your nose back straight. And he can see. And it makes me awfully jealous, Sean, because you keep getting the nicest girls, while I seem to get those, well, not so nice ladies.
You put that very nicely. Have you ever heard the term, yes, a little mileage? It's not all highway?
No, I've never heard that. Is that reference to a car?
Well, in your case, I was being in reference to a woman.
Yes, I thought you were. In a jocular mood, you are. Sean, wasn't that a touching moment you and I observed in England a couple of months ago? Did Sheffield Arena?
I don't think it's too difficult to remember, your lordship. Well, Lord Alfred Hayes, you have been in arenas all over the world where Hulk Hogan has come out and the crowd just goes insane.
Yes, they do indeed.
Well, I think we experienced the same feeling at Sheffield Arena. I have to look up around the arena. Not one person moved from their seats.
No.
They didn't look for the exits, and they sat there, stood up, cheering. It really was a moving moment.
Yes, it
Well,
was.
a number of moments, I should say. You spent some time in a little town.
Yes, I did. In fact, in Gorham, a very nice little town tucked into the dales of Yorkshire. Very passive action there. It is really a fantastic contest.
This match has been like flipping a coin from side to side as it's gone on back and forth.
You're right, Sean, it has turned things, and that pendulum has swung again. And as you said before, this match has been backwards and forwards from that opening bell.
A lot of quickness in this battle, Lord Alfred Hayes. Did you expect a pace like this?
No, I didn't, to tell the truth. Mixing up his attack. Good stuff. Great tenacity being shown here. Very, very efficient wrestler. He knows exactly how to position himself inside the ring. Geographically is always correct with his moves, and that is what causes one, or enables one, to bring off a victory. He really is a superb wrestler, so graceful, so artistic, and to watch him in action is a pleasure indeed. A very hardy veteran of the ring. He knows some very, very good little moves that can really disarm you, but he's not having all his own way here.
Clear example there, Lord Alfred Hayes.
Yes.
He's not going to beat him at that game.
Maybe he knows something that we're not privy to, but that is always the hallmark of a great wrestler, which certainly is. Yes, as a matter of fact, Sean, he's just prolonging this because he's beginning to enjoy himself in the ring. He's doing what he does best, running in front. He's a great front runner as far as wrestling moves are concerned. When he has a man in trouble like this, virtually no chance at all. I have to take down seriously, leaving my shoulders down for a count of three and trying to get out of this the honourable way. He who lives and runs away lives to fight another day.
Shouldn't have hesitated, Alfred.
No, he wasted some time there. And now he's flirting with a disqualification. He's coming awfully close indeed. And that has turned the referee's attention away from him.
Lackadaisical cannot do that. But here in the ring, he is enjoying himself at this point. There's no need to hurry things up. You better go for the kill when you have the opportunity.
Absolutely right. You can't take those sort of risks.
Very clear message. Not going to be pushed around.
He does everything so well. I don't like to see him take chances like that, though.
Well, we will see if it helps him out of this encounter. Certainly the drive is there. Refuses to be intimidated.
Some vintage wrestling here by both men. Just absolutely superb form being displayed by both of them. He's got the tables in his favour momentarily at the moment, but keeps coming back at him. So persistent, so persevering. His arsenal, his armory is so good in these circumstances, and in such perfect physical condition.
Listen to this crowd, Alfred.
Well, I can hardly hear myself here. They're making so much noise.
But I think you can call this one match a WrestleFest.
You bet.
We are certainly getting a feast of action.
Absolutely right, and I think a lot now depends upon the stamina and the durability. They're both practically out on their feet.
You got to be careful here.
Yes, that was a little premature there. He made a splendid resurgence. Then he should have sort of halted it a little bit there, taking stock of the situation. But we'll imagine now, any edge he gets, he's going to try for a quick victory.
Trying to capitalize. Enraged, though, has to make him pay for it dearly.
Oh, he'll pay for that. Have no worries. What is wrong with our referee here?
He's having a tough time keeping control. We have seen tactics attempted before. They have not worked.
Well, they are illegal tactics, and no matter how much everybody here in this auditorium likes that, they were definitely illegal tactics, and the referee should reprimand them. And I suppose you're going to tell me, Sean, that that's all fair.
Well, he got his attention.
I really think that's a treacherous attack here, and the referee is at fault for allowing this to take place.
The referee didn't see it.
Well, I don't know, but he really cannot call what he doesn't see. So this referee is doing a good job. He's doing exactly what is expected of him.
Thank you for the correction, Your Lordship.
Sorry about that.
He's still on the offense.
And here's the hallmark of a good wrestler. When you find a weakness, stick with it, come back to it time and time again. A good strategy just there.
We're seeing a great display between these two superstars.
I think a little frustration was beginning to show there.
Russia, you have mentioned on occasion that anger can be a great disadvantage.
It certainly can. It causes you to throw caution to the wind. It leaves you open for all sorts of counterattacks. However, in this instant, has been able to control that obvious anger and use it to his own advantage. I'm really surprised that he's been able to pull himself together after those shattering blows. Really is a superb person. I take my hat off to him, and just look how he takes his time. He's not being rushed into anything. He's super cautious, and then he really strikes home with his own attack.
It's that skill I mentioned earlier.
Yes, beautifully executed there. He's beginning to wonder just a little bit here what he's got himself into, but very resilient. Can come back with all sorts of great holds and moves that can really paralyze you in your track. Sean, this Coliseum exclusive is really turning out to be everything we expected it to.
Indeed.
A titanic struggle. Some super moves here.
As you had mentioned, Lord Alfred Hayes, this really is a classic matchup. Appears to be on autopilot at this point, refusing to give up. Doesn't look as though he knows where he is at this point.
I don't think he does. Our camera took us in and got a good shot of his eyes there. They seem glazed. Our Coliseum video man taking us right inside the ring there. You couldn't possibly be closer to the action than that. And that is a very graphical display of the energy and power once he's inside the ring and moving. And this is just sheer determination and courage being shown. He's weathering this storm. Oh my word, he's electric with excitement here. These people are really up to this match. God, look at that.
I think everyone would like to see that again.
Yes.
Really taking control.
He absorbed a tremendous blow.
Boy, there's a lot of force behind that move. And capitalizes on it. It really pays for it. That can result, I would imagine, Lord Alfred Hayes, in a serious pull.
You're right about the tendons. They're pulled there. They're not very stretchable, really.
And he is well known for that move.
He's so great. He came out and inflicted a little more damage. He knows he's really got to hurt him to be on top. And now this is great wrestling tactics being shown. I told you, Sean.
Good call, Lord Alfred Hayes.
Seems to be fading away a little. You can see it swelling over his right eye there. Obviously, some of the blows have taken their toll.
Not very well at this point.
Maybe shamming and playing possum a little bit here because he doesn't seem to have much energy left in him. He's a very cagey wrestler, and very often he will show you one side that you think is true, where he's hurt, but sometimes he's not hurt at all. And look at this.
So obviously he still is experiencing a lot of pain. It's really taken a tremendous beating. They continue.
These are good.
Square up at center ring.
These are good ploys being used. And I'm afraid authority is slipping away.